Ho, ho, ho. It's ho, ho. I've got Gunnar Rohrbacher here in the green room. He's waiting to come on the show. It is Interview Friday here on Lunch Therapy. And you're going to hear Gunnar maybe from time to time until I bring him on the show. He's hanging out with my assistant, Boney. They're having a rollicking time because they're old friends. And this is Boney. This is an episode that is going to be full of surprises. So you're going to want to stick around. Mr. Gunnar Rohrbacher is an actor, teacher, author of the book The Comedy Code, which is I've got it right here. It is a tome. It is a Bible of comedy acting. You can see it's a comprehensive book here. And it just came out. So we're going to talk to him about that. He's been on the show before. Ho, 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 ho. Vernis Clear is here. Chuck is here. Great musical intro. Maybe you recognize the set that we were sitting on in the intro here. We're going to do a little bit more of that as well. So Comedy Code. It's a book he's been working on for a long time. We're going to ask him how long. I'm sure it's, centuries. They had a book launch a week ago. It was super fun. And Gunnar, just to give you a little bit of background, he's going to give us a little bit more background. He was a member of the Groundlings, taught at the Groundlings. The Groundlings, if you don't know about that, that's like the long-standing improv troupe here in Los Angeles. It's like a feeder for Saturday Night Live and lots of other comedy shows. Their alumni range from Lorraine Newman, who was one of the original SNL cast members, to Will Ferrell, to Melissa McCarthy, and it just goes on and on and on, and Gunnar Rohrbacher. So he also did countless shows at the Acme Comedy Theater, which was a huge improv theater here in Los Angeles. And he was also on episode 55 of Lunch Therapy, if you caught that. So he's like a regular. He's like a regular on this show. Tom Petty, yeah. Tom Petty. Chuck says Tom Petty, yeah. He's gunning for laughs. Yeah. See, already the puns are starting. So this is great. So let's move on. We're going to get into our breathing portion of the show, and then we're going to bring Gunnar on. We don't know why that happened twice. We don't know. That's the thing about this show. We have no idea what's going on. I don't know. I've got Boney in the tech room there, and he just has a mind of his own. He beats to the march of his own drum. You know what I'm saying? Matt Wright says, if X2 Lunch Therapy regular, I'm a semi-regular. Yep, times 2. So Matt, also great interview with Matt Wright. I'm going to plug that. I know he wouldn't, but great interview with Matt Wright of Gas Huffer early on in the show. The run of the show. We're going to have him on again soon, so that should be fun. Right now, we're going to breathe. Everybody's going to breathe. We're going down the road here, but we're going to take the time to take 3 deep breaths. So in through the nose, out through the toes. Gunnar, I hope you're breathing back there. All right, good. Let it go. I'm feeling better already. We have a good crowd here today of hummingbirds. So good to see you all. Drop a message in the chat room. Send out some requests for friends. I don't know what you do out there in the internets. In through the nose, out through the toes. That's right. You heard it here first. We're going to have Matt Wright on the show very soon. Let it go. I want to mention another one of our guests. I've been mentioning this quite a bit lately, but I want to make sure that you know George Hood, who is the planking champion of the world, holds the record for the longest plank. He is going to be attempting the most push-ups in an hour tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So get up, grab your coffee, get on. There's a link in the show notes. Let's see if he can get. I think the record's 2,919. So let's see if he can get 3,000. Right. Ben McKnights is here from Australia for Mouth Breathers. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. Okay. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. I'm feeling good now. I am feeling good. Attempting. Yeah, I said attempting. Laugh out loud. George Hood will crush it. The guy is, he's over 60. And he must have some Australian blood in him or something, because he is like an Iron Man. Exactly. All right. We're moving on. We're going to bring on Gunnar now. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Gunnar Rohrbacher. There he is.
Oh, live guest, it said. I'm still alive.
Oh, thank God. I know. It's been crazy. It's been crazy since the last time we were on the show. So much has happened. We were like, probably back then we were like, oh, yeah, this might last another couple of days. We might be locked in. We don't know.
And then you became an internet juggernaut.
Exactly. Then the juggernaut occurred. Well, this is episode 230. I think you were on episode like 55 or something like that.
I was double nickels.
You were double nickels, yeah. It's so good to see you. Yeah, do you think it helped having this quarantine to get your book finally finished?
No.
I thought for sure you were going to say yeah. I try to ask questions where the answer is no.
No, the last bit. It's been done for a while. It took me a long time to write it, for sure.
Yeah. How long?
The last bit, 6 years.
Wow. Well, I mean,
6 years.
Look at the book.
I could elaborate. Look at it, it's big, but I could actually tell you exactly why. I mean, I think it's a bit interesting for the overall context of the book.
Yeah.
Because I started working on it so long ago, and I know it seems like all of our streaming services are, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, everything that we've got, it seems like it's been around forever. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't really been around that long.
No.
Not to the extent where pretty much every sitcom in television history is now anchored and hosted somewhere with every episode in order according to season, right?
Yeah. So
when I first started writing this, that wasn't quite there yet. And the reason I say that is, the reason I say that is because when I started this, I was writing a lot of it from memory or my recollection of a show or a series. And then, if I really wanted to do some research, I could buy a DVD.
Yeah.
Like that's how long that we haven't really been living in this world. So anyway, but very shortly thereafter, that's when, all the streaming services started gathering every show in existence. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons it took so long is because once I was able to just go onto my computer and then find an episode of a show. Mm-hmm. So in other words, if I had a thought or a recollection, I would go back and watch to substantiate and get exact quotes and make sure that what I was writing was accurate.
How accurate was your memory? Because I find when I go back to things, I'm like, oh, wow, it's totally different than I thought it was,
It was iffy, Joel.
Yeah?
It was iffy.
Yeah.
It was up or down, or it was just, I would say it was incomplete. And I would have a vague notion of what happened, and that notion was probably right.
Yeah.
But going back and watching it took a lot of time because I would go, first I would start like on the Wikipedia episode list of shows and go, what season did the whole Ross Rachel thing have, or whatever, for example. And then now you can just find a list of episodes, just through Wikipedia or IMDb or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I would go and watch it, and then I would probably end up watching more than I intended.
Right, you get into it. Totally.
And then get into it.
Yeah, so the thing, I just want to clarify for everybody, you basically studied television comedy from the beginning, studied it extensively, and broke it down to the essence of what makes it great. Is that a fair assessment? You can say no. No. No, that's not it at all, Joel. It's fine.
That's my first note.
It's totally fine.
Aggressive.
No, I'm just kidding. At one time, I think I'm reacting. I had a note one time on YouTube. Somebody left a comment that was like, "That's a great interview, but the interviewer's an idiot." It was only because I was kind of setting up questions, I think, for the other person to, go to answer. Like I'd say something like, "Do you think acting's all about facial expressions?" And they'd be like, "Well, no, it's not." And then they go on.
Right. Anyway, there's always elaboration to be had.
Yeah.
But either way, actually, wait, what was the last question?
The question is, did you study television from its inceptions and distill it down to what makes it great?
I mean, I did do that. And actively, obviously, while I was writing the book, but it would, I would have to see my childhood. Yeah. I am of an age where, when I was a kid, TV wasn't that old. It's still not that old right now. It isn't,
yeah, relatively.
And people tend to forget that. So I did do comprehensive research, but it started, when I was a kid, I would come home and watch reruns of the shows that were made in the 50s and 60s. So everything from like Burns and Allen to shows like Topper, Gilligan's Island, I Love Lucy. Even the Honeymooners were all on it, from like 3 to 5 in reruns when I came home from school. So I just gobbled up all of those shows. And then we kept watching as time went on. And it's only recently that the amount of product to watch has become overwhelming. Yeah. I mean, most of my life was lived with like 3 networks and a bunch of the stuff rerun. So I didn't think too much about things that came and went from TV or, I'm a fan of some of the cult shows that lasted only a season. I like to, Google cop rock on YouTube every once in a while. And
I liked When Things Were Rotten. Did you ever see that show? When Things Were Rotten.
I don't know that I know that.
Oh, haha! I gotcha. It was a ridiculous show set in like Robin Hood times, and it was you'll have to see it. You'll have to see it.
Now that you say that, I do know what you're talking about. I didn't recognize the title. One of my favorite obscure shows is She's the Sheriff with Suzanne Summers.
She's the Sheriff. You got me on that one.
Yeah. No, look that up. It's got a really funny opening credit too.
I just want to point out, our chat room loves your jacket. They cannot stop talking about it. They think that it's something out of Star Wars. They just are really digging it. So
thanks, everybody.
Big points
call me
for
Rogue
that.
One.
Rogue One. I like the medallion that you have too. It's kind of your signature thing, right?
It's kind of my thing. I like it. It's my little good luck charm. It gives me something to fidget with when I'm nervous.
Yeah.
To do with my hands.
This is a very stressful show, I'll tell you. Very stressful. One of the things about this show is that it's super relaxing, so that's cool. I just said it was stressful, and now I say it's relaxing. What is it? I think it's relaxing. I think it's a relaxing show.
I asked Boney why he was running around doing so much behind the scenes, and he said it's because Joel only keeps a skeleton crew.
Yes! I like that one. That's a good one. Oh, I got some applause for that one. My problem with my applause meter. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was good. I like it when there's actual jokes on the show. Merely a skeleton crew. This is exciting. Okay, so I think that's true. I think back in the day, we would all see the same thing, and we'd see them over and over and over again. Like Brady Bunch, we knew all the Brady Bunch episodes. We would quote them, Yeah. But now there's just so much content that you don't tend to watch things over and over and over again.
Right. So the book goes all the way from the beginning, which, it's a task. And like I said, it took some years, but, it's not like it's not like we're studying ancient Roman history or whatever. TV really only started and became normalized in the 50s.
Yeah.
So we only had so many decades to research, and it goes up to things that are pretty current. There are shows listed and mentioned and referenced that are still making their current episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
we covered the decade.
Okay, so after studying all of this, I'm going to stop the background because it's way too distracting. How can you tell me, after studying all of this, what did you discover?
Well, a big component of the book are the heroes of comedy, which are 10 archetypes that that writers use to create characters and consistent characterizations throughout television history, and they transcend decades. So when I was writing and performing sketch comedy, I'm also an improviser. I improvised a lot, but actually I much more did written, scripted sketch shows. So even back in my 20s, when I was working live on stages and writing comedy shows for myself, we still thought in types. At this point, I have a different vocabulary and vernacular for them in the book.
Yeah.
But even when I was starting out, whether you would call it like the stoner guy or the uptight guy or, whatever, we knew we had to write our characters through a lens of a distinct personality. So
Interesting.
I've always been playing with them as a writer performer, actually my whole life. And then teaching and coaching and directing, then I would work with other actors and help them bring their characterizations into focus. So it was by watching TV, writing and acting my own writing myself, then directing and coaching other actors. All of that collectively brought me to the realization that there aren't a million types of people. So from my frame of reference and the way I see it is we all have completely unique life stories.
Yeah.
But we do trade in archetypes and then tropes, which are typical storylines, right? We all go through the same phases of life, and none of us really know 1,000 different kinds of people. We can generally categorize them and type them. And that was the biggest through line that I found. And it doesn't matter what decade we're talking about, what's going on in society around, any of these, the time of the life of any of these shows, none of that matters. People are pretty identifiable.
I've got a little graphic here of your archetypes of comedy for me to just to refer to a little bit here. These are your archetypes that you distilled it down to. And which is really quite amazing. Do you think when people write comedies, they think of these archetypes, or do you think it's just kind of a natural thing, or do you think it goes all the way back to like Commedia dell'arte or something like that we are just kind of used to seeing certain types of characters?
All of those things. I think it is all of those things combined, because this does trace back. This is and I often say that when I talk about it. It's my interpretation and a modern version of Commedia dell'arte, types. Because here's the thing: to reach a broad general audience, a new show has to be immediately relatable. So you can have a show as basic as a family sitcom, and I don't mean basic in a bad way, but just simple as people living in a house like Roseanne, or friends hanging out with each other like Friends, or something more complicated, what the industry would call a high concept show like The Good Place, which takes place in the afterlife and has a lot of CGI, and it's got complicated rules of its own universe.
Yeah.
But here's what's consistent. You're like, oh, that's the grounding influence. Oh, that's the one who worries all the time. Oh, that's the oddball even within the group. That has stayed so consistent throughout TV history. It's been remarkable. And that's more or less how we categorize the people in our own tribe, in our own lives. So whether people have studied archetypes, or it even intersects, the study of psychology and human behavior, because Jung had archetypes.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter how you pare it down, nobody's really dealing with, like I said, a million different kinds of people.
Yeah.
The stories can deviate in a million directions, but I do think writers, whatever their vocabulary, their vernacular, however they go about saying it, well, we can observe it, right? So I have my thoughts and opinions, but we can review TV. And because one of the things that I do is not only review the psychology, the psychological profile of each of those archetypes, I list all the examples.
Yeah, which is so cool. In the book, you go through and you have these extensive lists from every show, from lots of different sitcoms. And you have the name of the character, the name of the actor, and which archetype they are. And it's so helpful. And some of them I'm surprised, like Oscar Madison from The Odd Couple. Yeah, I think you have him listed as a dreamer.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I thought maybe he'd be like a cynic or something, or I wasn't sure.
He's ultimately hopeful. And, it was a good combination, pitting that archetype against uptight Felix Unger.
Yeah. So a lot of the comedy comes out of taking these archetypes and putting them together. Essentially.
Yeah, well, comedy comes from conflict, right?
Yeah.
So you have external problems, just to like review the simple structure of not just sitcoms, but really, all broadcast narrative. All story and all storytelling is about conflict and the heroes overcoming conflict. So you've got really two choices. So you've got, let's introduce a problem from the outside and bring it into the tribe's world. So you've got that external conflict, and everything else is just a matter of all the people, all the different characters on the show seeing the same problem through their own lens. And then you get the interpersonal conflict. What most people don't really, I think, understand about sitcoms is that they're less about the concept or the premise and more about the interpersonal relationships and tribal dynamics of the family.
One of our viewers who's a teacher in Washington said, cynics are just grown-up dreamers. What do you think about that statement?
I more or less agree, although and I often say it, that like there's a kinship, and I think of them as cousins. So where they would say grown up, I would say their optimism.
That what? You cut out for a second.
I would say that they lost their optimism.
They lost their optimism somewhere along the way.
Yeah, because some people never grow up.
Yeah.
Which is what we call a Peter Pan complex.
Thank God for that, right? Thank God for that. I want to put this up on the screen again just because people are really interested in it. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a game. And we're going to show characters from sitcoms. And then we're going to maybe give a little bit of time for people to guess.
Okay.
And then, and then you'll tell us, and we'll see. We'll see if I was correct. It's not like I didn't cheat. Let me just get the thing going here.
What if I have to use my own book as a reference?
Right, you might have to. Yeah, you're gonna. It's gonna be a little test for you a little bit, but I think it's gonna be pretty easy for you. So let me just hold on one second. This is very Boney. Come on, where's the slideshow? What the heck? Oh,
He's just spends a lot of time over by the suggestion box. Just so you know, Joel.
I think he might be drinking.
Is he down in the hooch?
Yeah, he might be. All right, so here we go. We're moving on to the archetype game. Here we go. You know Dare Mighty Things? You know where that comes from? They landed a rover, Perseverance, on Mars recently. And the parachute, as it was coming down, had a code in it for only people that know how to read this particular kind of code. And the code said, Dare Mighty Things.
Nice.
Isn't that cool? I mean, imagine, first of all, parachutes are like one of the hardest things to make when you're making a rocket. They're really difficult. People at SpaceX, they said that people quit over making the parachutes. And so then to make a parachute and then put some wacky code in there that says "Dare Mighty Things," those people are confident.
Confident.
Looking at some of the chats, Ben says, "Which archetype is Joel closest to?" That's a good question.
Should I answer that, or
yes.
you? Or?
Yeah, I think you should. I won't be offended.
I think Joel's strongest archetype is the eccentric.
Aha! Oh, I like that. I like it.
Uh-huh.
I love that. In fact,
Joel lives in his imagination. That's a good thing.
All right. Cool. You heard it here. Eccentric. Okay. So this is Archetypes of Comedy from the book Comedy Code. And these are the archetypes. And now we're going to play a game where you guess the archetype. So here's one. Who is this guy? He is...
Should I say? Or is that what you're guessing?
You can say.
Okay. That is Matt Perry, who's known for playing Chandler Bing in the hit sitcom Friends, but he also actually starred on the remake of The Odd Couple, by the way.
Oh yeah, he did. That's true. That's
Oscar
true.
Madison.
So Friends. So people can, guess the archetype. I could probably put them up on the screen again, but I won't.
Should I throw out a characteristic or two?
Yeah,
of the archetype?
Do that. That would be great.
Chandler Bing was very self-effacing, and he had a degree of self-loathing. I mean, he had inward-directed enmity, and he liked to make fun of himself before others could make fun of him. Oh, interesting.
Let's see. Charles Goldsmith says the rebel. It's hard, you're going to get a lot of these wrong because I do all the time. And, I'm super smart.
It's called living out loud.
Everyone over 50. It's true. You get to a certain age.
Well, I don't know. Matt, have you been to Mississippi lately? I don't think they're all living out loud. Look,
Greg Wordle says...
the whole state.
Oh, yeah, really. Great. Now we're going to lose all of our listeners. They're all there. Greg Wordle says the buffoon.
Chandler, despite seeming to come across in a negative way a lot, was hopeful, optimistic, and desperate for his dreams to come true.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, who on the show, Friends, is the buffoon? Is there a buffoon?
There is not a dedicated buffoon.
Not Joey or somebody like that?
Nope. Okay. There isn't one.
Interesting. There's not always, even in that group. Dreamer.
Boom, the big reveal.
I didn't do the drum roll or anything. It was really
it was kind of unceremonious.
Yeah, but there's more. I'm getting better at this thing, the contest. All right, let's see another one.
Yes, Chandler was the dreamer on Friends.
He's the dreamer. Okay, so here we go. Here's the character for you. This is Everybody Loves Raymond.
Brad Garrett, Robert Barone. Brad Garrett came and taught in my Thursday night master class.
Really?
In the studio one night.
Is he like 9 feet tall?
He is, and we were sitting next to each other co-teaching.
Oh, really? That must have been fun.
That was an exercise in comedy all in and of itself. Yeah, we taught a class together one night. He came in as my guest.
Cool. He's hilarious. Let's see.
And you know how I got him, Joel? You'll appreciate this because booking people is a challenge, right? It's like it's a job.
Yeah.
This is a true story. He was speaking and presenting at a policeman's ball in Studio City at the Sportsman's Lodge in Studio City.
Oh, yeah, that place is cool.
And a friend of mine's daughter was singing there, and she was like, "Hey, I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go to the policeman's ball?" And so I said, yeah. Brad Garrett was there. I handed him my card and said, "Would you come to my school?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Wow, that's so awesome.
So that's how you got to roll in Hollywood, man.
It is. That's how you got to roll. So, okay, let's see. What do you think? Anyone? I think maybe I'm gonna go buffoon.
Is that how you're going to roll? So Robert was jealous of his brother Ray.
Yeah.
He could be petty. He
Yeah.
held on to grudges. He was competitive and snarky and somewhat of a dimwit.
Yeah.
Which
Buffoon.
is ultimately
A buffoon. Yay!
a buffoon.
All right. I should have been like buffoon. Okay, there we go. All right, moving on. The drama that I have tried to create here is not happening. I'm going to have to take a class in dramatic slideshows. This fellow.
Yeah, that's Carol O'Connor.
That's
he
Carol
played Archie
O'Connor.
Bunker on All in the Family, among
right.
other things, but he made that character certainly iconic.
I think Greg Wardle could get this one. All right, we're moving along here. This one I guessed, I believe. Cynic.
He is the cynic.
He is
yes.
definitely.
Boom.
So when you make a show, do you have to have all different people, or are there sometimes two cynics, or sometimes two buffoons?
Depending on the scale of the cast, because even a half-hour show could have a quartet. So like Will and Grace, with all the characters that came on and off as guests, the core cast was only 4 people. If you have a show like Mike and Molly, that actually had a sprawling cast of recurring characters. It had like 8 people. So anyway, depending on the size of the cast, you could get a redundant character. After careful observation, it seems like if there's going to be a double up on a character, it's typically the neurotic.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So from a writing standpoint, the cynic is the voice of doubt and the voice of no and the voice of shutting down other people's schemes, hopes, and dreams. So you probably don't need more than one of those. But yeah, typically the whole point of creating your character bios and fleshing out your characters to write a show is to bring a voice in service to the story, and ideally each voice is distinct and unique.
Okay, moving along. This is one of my favorite characters in all of comedy.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is playing Selena Meyer.
That's right.
On the multi-Emmy Award winning show Veep. She's also, Julia has more Emmys as a lead actress than any other actor in television history.
Really? Yeah, she's been in so many great comic shows.
Yeah, she the obvious guesses are for Veep and then playing Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld. She also grabbed one on The New Adventures of Old Christine.
Right. Wow. Yeah, she's a comedy powerhouse. Have you ever seen those Mark Twain Awards at the Kennedy Center? Anybody who hasn't seen those, the speeches that they give and those things are so great. They give away an award for comedy. It's one of the only maybe big awards for comedy. And they just give it to one person, but they have all their friends talk about them beforehand. It's a little bit of a roast, but the speeches are just hilarious. And she won one of them. So let's see. Oh, Chuck says The Anchor.
Well, the anchor is grounded, stable, rational, responsible, and they're typically the nurturer and the caretaker of their tribe. So while she was in charge of her tribe, I don't know that she took very good care of people.
Yeah, that's right. Kamala is weighing in. Narcissist.
She is the narcissist. Yeah, she is selfish, entitled, self-centered, egotistical.
Nice.
Grandiose.
Right. We're moving along. We're going to move a little faster through these things. This is John Travolta, obviously.
Vinnie
Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Welcome Back, Kotter. Your dreams were your ticket out.
I could sing the whole song, but I'll spare us. But yeah, great show. I was a big Horshack fan. All right, so here's what Matt Wright says, The Rebel.
He had a strong sense of self and a strong personality the way the rebel did, but ultimately I think he goes into another category.
What do you think about innocence?
He did have a simplicity to him, the way the innocent might, but I think he was known for something more specific on that show and sent into service in scenes for typically another archetype.
I think Horshack might have been the innocent. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be a good call. Yeah.
Player.
Oh, don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, he was the Sex Pistol on that show.
All right, so he was the player.
He was the player.
Oh, I blew it totally. I just moved to the next one. But okay, we're on the next one.
I thought it was a smooth transition. Actually,
it was kind of, wasn't it? I meant to do that.
You were deliberately,
meant to
keeping
do that.
The ball rolling.
Yeah, that's right.
Wheezy
from the Jeffersons, Louise Jefferson. I'm going to say Anchor. That's what I'm thinking.
It's a good call.
Is it?
Pull the plug on it. Yeah, let's end the suspense.
All right, Anchor.
Funny primarily because of her sarcasm.
Yes, that's what you would think. Sarcasm would go along with the cynic.
Actually, none of the sarcasm is a huge component of American comedy and British comedy in particular. More than other cultures, we are fast and loose and easy with sarcasm in our culture, and it permeates our comedy. So as in contrast, you think of like a typical Asian culture, you can just like start work one day and like be sassy with your boss. If we felt a certain comfort level, we might be sarcastic to break tension, where in other cultures, it could be offensive to be immediately sarcastic. So 9 of the 10 archetypes trade in sarcasm, just so everybody knows.
Wow. 9 of the 10 trade in sarcasm. Raj.
Yeah, so if a character is sarcastic, it's not too indicative of anything. It's just that the anchor really only produces sarcasm or humor through sarcasm.
All right, we're going to get through all 10 of these. Okay. Oh, I just called this one innocent. That's Raj.
Raj is the innocent.
And this one?
Buster.
This is one of our favorites. Everybody's favorite these days. The old Arrested Development. Buster Bluth. All right. And he is eccentric. This is me. This is how I am. I'm just like that guy.
Nice you look like twins.
We do. We're totally twins.
Wouldn't be able to tell you apart.
If I would have worn my shorts with those striped socks, maybe. This actor is so great. Tony Hale. He's
a genius. Yeah,
he is a genius, and he's great on Veep as well.
Tony Hale. Yeah.
Okay, Les Nessman
from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
the famous turkey drop episode. Oh my God, it was so funny. I
love the turkey drop episode. Okay, all right, and we're moving on. He is the neurotic. This guy.
Yes, he was.
How about this guy? This is from a movie. This is from a movie.
Yeah.
So there are archetypes in movies, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, identifiable, relatable characters. Producers need characters to come on screen, and we get who they are, and we get what voice they're bringing to the club.
I'm guessing a rebel, right?
He looks like a rebel to me with those gloves. Are you kidding me?
Me too.
He's lighting a match in school, Joel. He's a bad boy.
He is a bad boy. Okay, let's see. What about this guy? This seems to be Judd Nelson here. Wait a minute. What's he doing here?
Judd Nelson.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you sound great.
Well, someone used enmity.
Oh.
I think Gunnar used the word enmity.
Yeah.
So he wins.
He wins.
He's really super smart.
I remember I had to say that in a Shakespeare play, and I had the hardest time with the word enmity. It's a tough one. So yeah, in honor of your book, Gunnar, Judd Nelson, The Ultimate Rebel, has appeared. And I think, we can also talk maybe about Suddenly Susan, which is another sitcom that Judd has had experienced for quite a while, starred in. Judd, welcome
Well,
to Lunch
you did
Therapy.
pop surprises. I'm starstruck. So whatever it looks like on the screen, my heart's going like this right now. Hi, Judd.
I just came for the therapy.
Yeah, he needs some therapy. We all do.
Oh,
Therapy.
okay.
Yeah.
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 I realize I've been socially distancing for the past 20 years. I didn't think with that, but did they have to close everything at midnight? That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, they want us to turn you up, Judd. I don't know.
Turn me up.
I don't know if you can turn it up. I think they can hear you though pretty well. For the
Better
most
now?
part. Yeah. That my sound guy is the guy. It's not Boney, but I have a sound expert in Australia, Ben McKnights, said turn it up.
Wait, your sound mixer is like 8 time zones away?
Yeah, exactly. That's the way this show is. That's the way this show is. Oh, I know what it is. It's the headphones. Maybe you have
should
the
put 'em
headphones.
on?
Yeah, put them on.
Where do I plug it into though? My phone? The
Into
computer?
your computer, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time I've used a computer without the state's supervision.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have Judd on the show because he is now wired in to be able to participate online because this seems to be the way everything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can hear you better now.
I can't hear you though. Oh, I know, because I have to do this thing you showed me.
Yeah. There we go. Is that working?
It's all good.
All right. Ben
So
was
this
wondering.
is great. So it goes to Australia. So in fact, this is tomorrow.
Yeah. We were wondering. They were wondering why I was
We're in
rushing through, and I was rushing through because I kept seeing Judd come into the thing and then coming off the thing and then coming
I
back
couldn't
in.
tell if you could see me or not. I'm waving my hands around. I'm like a bad pilot, I don't know.
All right, we're squared away now. We're squared away. So behind me, I have a school, and it is the school from the Breakfast Club, I believe. The actual school that it was shot in, I believe. Is that true?
Well, they built the library in the big gymnasium.
Oh,
So that room didn't exist. So they built that to be the main set piece. And then we used all the real corridors. It was a school that had only been open for 10 years and they closed it because of population redistribution. But it was
Really?
good for me
yeah.
because they had one little wing of it where on Saturdays they would have the bad kids come in.
Oh,
We shot on Saturdays. So Saturday mornings I would make a special journey to where the fences were and yell at them. And, they would yell back, and then there would be a problem, and then I would feel good about my work that day.
did you get any good lines from them?
Shut your fucking mouth. That's pretty much what I read a lot, but,
I don't remember that scene.
Who the hell are you? Leave us alone. We're in enough trouble, And then I was told by the production manager to stop doing that. And I was like, does he really want me to stop, or is this like a test?
Yeah.
So I kept doing it until they physically grabbed me and pulled me away from that area of the school. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I should stop now.
That's so wild that you filmed it in the school. Now,
Yeah.
you've acted in films and television, sitcoms particularly. How is that different? How is that procedure different? Or
Well-
how is the acting different? How is the experience different?
You tend to rehearse in sequence and shoot in sequence live before the audience. So that's an advantage because films, sometimes you never know where you're going to pick up the script. At any given point, it could change. The weather could affect it. So it tends to be slightly more rehearsed maybe than a film, but not rehearsed like a play. But the good thing is if you have a script and it's not so great that week, and the audience will let you know. Because the writers are writing to get the jokes from the audience. And if the audience is not laughing, it's hard to blame 100 people.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of, and if it's really a struggle for everybody, at least it's over that week.
It's done.
It's like 1 week, it's like every 18th week we do bad one act, and so that's okay.
That's great. So they're writing the jokes as you're performing it. Do they sometimes just swap out jokes?
Yeah. Or they'll let you know that the joke didn't work because you stepped on it.
Oh.
They would like you to, let the joke breathe, which is an interesting notion. If I understood what it meant, maybe I could do it. I had a director tell me once to ascend to Venus. And I was like, I was like, man, I haven't even been to the moon. I just don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But,
I'm guessing that wasn't James Brooks.
No, I've never worked for him, but he's the best of the best. So I understand, in terms of that genre, he knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. He likes actors. He works with people that he knows are good. What did Hitchcock got angry one day and he said that I didn't say actors are cows. I said treat actors like they're cows.
No.
And everyone was like, so that's better? I guess so. If you're Hitchcock, it's better.
Wasn't Rodney Dangerfield on that show? Didn't he guest on that show?
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield guested on the show, and may he rest in peace. This guy was magnificent. Now, he's a legend.
Yeah.
He shows up. We do the table read every week, Monday morning table read. A nice breakfast spread only on that day, for Monday, to sit down, read through. Rodney's there. I'm sitting next to him. He has a plate full of bagels and cream cheese, and he puts the plate on top of the script. And we begin to read.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
He's not in the first two scenes. He's like in the third scene is where we meet him.
Yeah.
He's the oven repair man, and it's Thanksgiving, and Brooks' oven has broken.
Yeah.
I'm not in those scenes with Rodney. I'm like the B story that week.
Yeah.
So we're doing the read through. They go through the first scene, and we're getting close to the second scene, and he's still eating and has not looked at the script at all. It's covered by his plate. He's just eating and listening to the story. So I'm like, okay, we get to the next scene, the third scene, and I just slide the script like that's you. And he's like, oh, yeah. So he eats, and he does it. I'm turning the pages for him. He just keeps eating as if he knew, like we had it worked out. So I keep doing it for him. And then, and we finish. And he goes, thank you. I was hungry. Okay, cool. So then as we rehearse, usually after the read-through, you go home because then they're going to change the script. You come back on the second day and you start blocking and working the scenes. And I'm not in the stuff with Rodney, but I'm watching the stuff with Rodney because I think he's great.
Yeah.
And he's really not even holding the script and doesn't know the lines. So someone has to give him a script and say, this is this. And he's like, oh, and really stumbling through it. And there's something about it. I say to the other actors after that day, I go, he's going to be ready. He's doing something. I think he's lying in wait. And they're like, come on now, he's an older man. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, okay. So they go through it the next couple of days that way. When we shoot the show on Friday night before the live audience, first scene, Rodney's not in. Second scene, Rodney's not in. Third scene, he appears. The scene starts and she opens the door and there's Rodney Dangerfield. And the crowd goes crazy. I mean, crazy. The other actors in the scene are like, you better wait. You got to wait for that big applause and laugh to die down.
Yeah.
It's like, and you see the others look around like, that's right. He's a legend. And he knows all his lines. He makes it look like they don't know their lines. He's way ahead of them. And
really,
at one point, there's a kind of joke that's not that funny. And he delivers it. It's not that funny. And they go through and the scene's great. Everyone loves it. But they want to go again. And they want to change that joke a little bit. But they'd like Rodney to maybe try it a little different. The same material, but a little bit different. It's Rodney Dangerfield there, Cal. And Rodney says, I've got a joke that'd work right there. If you want, same setup and a different punch on it if you want. And they're like, no, it's okay. We'll just try this one again. And he's like, okay. And they go through the scene again. And at the same point, he does it, tries to sell it. It's just not really funny. Not like what we expect from Rodney.
Yeah.
So there's a cut. We're going to go do it again. And Rodney goes, if you I'll just try one. How about on this one, I just try one? And they're like, okay. And so they go through the scene and he does his joke and it's magnificent. It's great. Everyone stands up yelling and screaming. It's like, oh my goodness. So it was like, I just loved it because I wasn't out there getting my ass handed to me. But that happened later. Betty White was a guest star in an episode. I hire her and then I fire her. And she says it's ageism. So it's a court case. And she's in the witness chair, and I'm going to ask her some questions, and I on purpose try and mess her up. I know
Yeah.
the lines, but I jump ahead a little bit, see if I can, because she's so savvy, and I'm like, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then before I know what's going on, I'm like stopped in the middle of the scene, and I don't know what my lines are. And I'm confused where I am in the scene. And I look up at Betty, and she's got her arms crossed. She's like, you want to go again now? You want to do it again? Is that what you need? And I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? I just got, what is it? Hung by my own petard, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what? It's just unbelievable. So
That's super
do
funny.
not mess with them. I would say that the older actors are like wily vipers who, if you just kind of stray near them thinking everything is okay, you're going to be sucked in air, man. That's it. That's it. They got you. So,
That's great. I love those
and
stories.
then as a button for this,
Yeah.
I did a benefit for the Santa Monica Jewish Temple, and it's a fundraiser on a strange channel, and I'm there to talk for like maybe 15 minutes, get people to pledge money. And Estelle Getty, who plays the mother in The Golden Girls.
Yeah.
I see her in the big
yeah.
makeup room. I see her in the mirror. She's coming in with two young guys on either side of her. It's like, this is backstage. This is not for the cameras. It's like, that's not an act. It's like, what? I'm looking over there, and I'm looking at her in the mirror, and she's looking at me, and she shrugs off the guys and walks right up to me, and she goes, you tried to mess up my friend Betty, didn't you?
Oh,
You
no.
got egg on your face. Don't mess with her. And I was like, oh, man. I just got killed.
Nah.
I just got re-killed. I got
Gets
re-killed
around.
then by
Gets
Estelle Getty.
around. Oh, that's hilarious. Judd is starring right now in a movie called The Girl in the Basement, just so people know about that. It is scary. You're scary.
Not a comedy.
You're
Not
scary
a comedy.
dude, man. Yeah, it is a dark show that's on Lifetime. Check it out. Anything else? Gunnar, did you want to ask Judd any questions while he's here?
Way to put me on the spot.
I know, I totally did. I would have
There's no
texted
warning
you.
or anything.
I would have
Somebody pick him up
texted
on
you.
your screen and go, I'm about to put you on the spot.
You don't have to ask any questions.
He's our friend. He's our friend that he does it to.
I got another person that I'm going to bring on here that just because I know you that's me up there, but I've got another person. I'm hoping. Oh, I can't even. I was going to bring on somebody, but let me
You
just
can
see.
make me go to sleep if you want.
No, I wanted to bring her on with you.
I think if you put like a curtain over my head, then I get very still and quiet. Yeah.
I think. Oh wait, let me do this.
parrot?
I'll do this weird
No,
thing.
yeah, exactly, like a bird, like a chicken. Otherwise, I'm like pecking at my reflection. It's bad. Just throw something over my head, and I'm like,
Let's
Go.
see. Let's see if I can get her. No, I can't. I can only. For some reason, Boney, what the heck is going on here? I don't know.
now, Joel, if you can't figure it out,
I know. Who's going to be able to
really,
figure it out?
I'll
I was
just-
going to bring
I'll just
Kamala Lopez
use a
on, but
magic 8-ball.
I lost her.
Magic 8-ball.
I lost her. Gunnar, now that I've given you all this time looking for Kamala, do you have any questions for Judd? No. Well, I think we're going to end it here. I'm going to end this segment of the thing. Thanks, Judd, for being here on the show. Thanks, Gunnar,
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
for allowing me to put you on the spot and asking you if you have any questions. I totally shocked
it was-
Gunnar. I had no idea that Judd was going to be on the show, and it's been really fun, really fun.
Well, it's okay because the listeners and viewers don't know
yeah.
that Gunnar is in fact a 3D representation of Gunnar. So it's okay. Of course, he doesn't know all your surprise
That's right.
questions because
Yeah.
We programmed him with different answers. So
Do you have? I have friends from doing this show that I have never seen in 3 dimensions, and I wonder if any of them are AI. I mean, it could be, right?
it could be, but I think you would know. You would know. You would sense the glitch. It's not like the Matrix. Like what's that thing? I saw some video where they're showing airplanes just stuck in the sky while they're filming it live, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, the Matrix has a glitch.
I
And
would
it's
see
like,
the glitch.
Really.
They say that about, there's that theory that we're all maybe living in a computer simulation. And one of the reasons that they say that we might not be, it's because we don't see a lot of glitches. Oh, there's Kamala. Look at that.
Oh,
See?
my goodness.
I don't know how that worked
Hello.
finally, but it finally worked.
Hey,
Now we're all.
Joe,
You
she
do.
has a blue backdrop as well. She might be at Gunner's place.
I know. I see. I don't know. While the show goes on, I have no idea what's happening in the world.
No,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I be heard?
You can be heard.
No, but we do all take class with Gunnar
Yeah.
in his master class. And one of the things we learn as actors now in this new time is your background has to be, flat and clean, so it doesn't confuse the people when you're auditioning. And you have to be lit, and blue apparently is the color they've determined that is the most soothing or whatever it is. So that's why we all have that. Right, Gunnar?
Generally speaking, yeah. I mean, actors are responsible for their own auditions at this point, 100%.
Oh my God.
It's getting crazy too.
Insane.
You mean I could have blamed other people before?
Yeah, Judd.
It was not
you
my
weren't taking
responsibility
advantage
before.
of that.
Now it is.
It was the
I
reader's
didn't
fault
get away
before,
with
Judd.
anything.
It was the reader.
Yeah. Those darn
What's your
readers.
problem?
Listen
I
to
tell you,
what
I always thought that we needed a woman or man or an actor or a not actor to be in a booth that was soundproof. And when you come to do an audition, you get to go in the booth for like 10 minutes and go through it with her. Say the lines out loud, hear them said loud for the first time. Because there's nothing like working at home, you're all ready for it. And they go, okay, here's the camera, we want you to look here and begin.
Yeah. And you're like,
Whose voice is that?
can I have a glass of water? Yeah.
Okay, can I start again? You've already blown it. So.
Right. Oh, God, it's so true. So true.
But what I was going to tell you is something that Gunnar told us in class last night, which nobody knew, which is when they're doing now, let's say you're testing for a series regular role and you're going to network, they tell you to bring your own reader.
That's apparently the new thing.
And you got to pay some, or, get your mom or whatever to read with you for network. And then at the end, they go, please send us the link. We didn't record it. So you're like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Ugh.
Shouldn't SAG get involved with that or somebody? I mean, that's ridiculous. What if you can't afford to hire a reader for yourself?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
That's a new thing. Like very new.
Yeah, it's pretty new. It was a network. I was present for somebody else's network studio callback for a major network to read with them because they don't provide readers even for a live virtual Zoom callback.
And do you have to have a reader? Can you just do it all yourself and imagine the lines?
No, you have to have the reader. Just say all the lines in like a monologue.
Well, I think
That's
that's
what
why
I'm gonna
there's a
start
lot
doing.
of ventriloquists and voice actors getting all the work out there because I can do it like this, I do it like that, I can be whatever. It's just not right. It's not fair.
Matt Wright says
I dance,
use
but I
Google
can't
type
dance,
speech.
I don't dance out of frame. What am I supposed to do with that? It's like,
Yeah. We should all Google type speech. It'll just be like, the lines will be like this. Hello. But it messes up your acting, though, when there's somebody else out there like...
Is there an app that can change your voice to disguise it, like, kidnappers when they call the newspaper and
Absolutely.
they go, "Please put the money in the
Oh, for sure.
Can do
wanna
that
do
in
those.
GarageBand.
GarageBand.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
Kamala's the
there's a lot of stuff.
GarageBand
I can do the
expert now.
boom and back,
I'm
and
not,
I can't figure it out my phone.
I know, where'd that come from?
It's totally the GarageBand. All right, everybody. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you
Wait,
for
I,
having me.
What?
I
And
think
nice
we
to
should
see you, Kamala. I'm glad you're
second.
getting better.
She wants to talk one more. What are you going to say?
want to ask Judd
Yeah.
how he's doing his self-tapes.
How,
Are you
am I
doing
my
self-tapes?
self-tapes?
Yes. Are you doing them?
Well, yes. And I've been met with a little bit of resistance
From whom?
from people that don't like my framing.
Yes. I was going
They
to say
don't like the fact that maybe I'll shoot into a mirror
Yeah.
and then to my face.
Oh, no.
And then they're like, what was that? And I go, did you know it was me? And they go, of course. And I go, so what's the problem? The problem is they said they want it from this height to this height and this and get a ring and like this. And I go, can I wear my junior high school football pads? And they were like, no.
No.
And I was like, well, then I'm shooting in the mirror.
Yeah. Do you wear that hat every time you do an audition?
Not this hat.
Oh.
Sometimes I'll just wear just a small little like kitchen knife right here. And that I find makes me very attractive to most casting directors.
Well, I hear if you wear something unusual, that you get cast all the time. Just
Yeah,
something
that's
a little
helpful.
unusual. Yeah, Gunnar.
Joel, I have my question for
Yes.
Judd now. It took,
All right.
it took this much time.
I know it's hard.
but Great things take time.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty simple. So, Judd, are you a rebel in real life?
No, probably not. I think I am a disappointed dreamer. You know,
Call
I
that
think
a
So
cynic,
that would
right?
be that would
I
be a
think that
cynic.
it's always a battle to remind myself that not everyone has the best of intentions. And also, who cares whether someone has the best intentions if their actions are so negative and do more damage than good? You know, having best intentions is a great excuse for a lot of bad behavior over the past 5,000 years. So, you know,
Wow.
I think I'm.
That was
My grandfather told my father that he believed most people want to do good and that they want to be allowed to learn and grow and make the right decision. And I've had a discussion with my father where I said, okay, maybe it's 51% to 49%, but I haven't met all the 8 billion people in the world. So I could be on a bad Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead run where I'm meeting people who really, human is a little bit of a loose term to describe them. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the therapy part of the show. We finally got to the therapy part. I'm
You
so
know
glad.
why? Because the artist, the energy of the artist, which is about creation and optimism and looking forward, all that beautiful energy also attracts extremely negative forces that want to use that power for their own ends. And so you've got to really be aware of who you allow to be around you, and see what their agenda actually is, because otherwise this is a very dangerous space to be in, and a highly artistic, highly creative, a lot of money at stake, a lot of power at stake, and in people with
That's why it's great to have a teacher like Gunnar Rohrbacher, because
who cares about people.
you know that he cares about you doing great work. And sometimes you can find yourself with teachers, acting teachers, who don't have that agenda. They want to keep you in class. They want to maybe feel smarter than you, and
Grab your ass.
and it's hard to even grab your ass. It's hard to even tell, because you make yourself so open when you hire somebody like that to teach you. You make yourself so open to the possibilities that they can really manipulate you.
but
Grab your ass.
I don't know if you're really on the right track if you're expecting your acting teacher to make you a success.
Yes,
That
that makes sense.
That's that's so many steps ahead of something.
Right.
It's you want the acting teacher to help you understand a technique. So when you're not up to the job, which hopefully never happens, but it occasionally does, when you're not up to the job, you have some learned knowledge that will get you where you should be in service of the material without breaking the process of the people around you. But an acting teacher is not going to make you a success or give you a career or get you an Oscar or be able to, have your dad love you finally. It's like, what is your problem?
No, it's up to you. It's up to you. And all the teacher can do is guide you. Yeah.
But what I will say, Judd, is that, being the cynic that you are, there are a lot of 20-year-old people that come to Hollywood that are looking for guidance, that don't know what's going on. And if they're not with somebody like Gunnar, and they're very few and far between, they will get so messed up and twisted up and, begin that sort of unspiraling of themselves, because they need a person that's not going to take advantage of them. And I know that an acting teacher is not going to get you an Oscar, but an acting teacher should not molest you, fuck you up,
Should
give
not. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. But
overcharge you, rip you off, collude
Yes.
with photographers, whatever. Have you
Yes.
come over, wash his fucking feet.
Kamala.
Got bad
happening?
experiences?
Kamala. Here's the thing, though, Kamala. As we see often, like
Yeah.
what you are talking about, these things happen and they are common.
Yeah.
So no one would come out to Hollywood who was a cheerleader or a quarterback from some other place in America. I mean, Los Angeles is a city of America. New York's a city of the world. Los Angeles is a city of America. The worst part of America in a way, what we represent or what we hope to, sell as a representation of Americans. Good guys, bad guys, the white hat, you will take democracy at the end of a gun. Well, that's freedom for sure, right? So any of these things, if you come out to Hollywood, California, without knowing anything about how the shade is dark and how the trust is rare and thin, it's like that over 20,000 meters is where the air gets tough to breathe when you climb a mountain. It becomes what do they call the death zone? Southern California, this is the death zone for like hope and dreams and thinking people have your best interest at heart. I mean, you think your agent is going to side with you against a studio? There's only 10 of them. Sorry, you're going to lose out. I'm not going to violate my relationship with Universal for you. So everyone knows this. So it's a
I
different thing.
disagree. Does not know this. 20-year-old girl from Iowa that gets off the bus on Sunset doesn't know this.
Yes, she does now. She knows about Weinstein. She knows about Allen. She knows about these horrible, unfair stories. She knows about the problems in the streets. These last 4 years have changed America's sense of our own innocence. It's like, come on now, wake up. So that can't be tolerated anymore. So come out here aware that things are going to be done not in your best interest by experts that convincing you they care. They're like, and they're very adaptable. I mean, what was that? Who was that psychiatrist that said that most, meaning 51% of all the CEOs of the Fortune 500
Sociopaths.
are sociopaths.
Yeah.
It's like you go, wait, and then you read and they explain and you go, oh wow, I'm a sociopath too. No.
Well, that's why one of the things you learn if you stay in Los Angeles long enough and don't just leave is you have to surround yourself with people and who are for you and you're for them.
And you have to be for yourself, I think, is the most important
Definitely.
thing.
And you can't
If
say
you're
like, why are
self-image-
they not getting me parts or whatever? You can't be like that. You have to be like, I take responsibility for myself. And I also help lift up whoever is around me, who is on my, basically on my team. You gotta make a culture around yourself, and you try and do the best for yourself and those around you. And I think
But here's
Gunnar's
the
one of those
thing.
people. I think
Here's
Judd's
the
like
thing.
that. I think Kamala's like that. That's why you're, long-term friends of mine.
I think it's very difficult that
Yeah.
we're put in a situation where we need representatives to argue for us, to make our case, to put our name in the hopper and then say why they should use us. Really? Really? I can't do that for myself? I guess not. So we have people that they have this job. I mean, in Shakespeare's time, were there agents and managers? No. Players. Right? You didn't have a separate director. We all worked together. It was collaboration. Now, actors are removed from the process of the discourse of seeking employment. We have to speak to our representatives who then argue our case. Is it like a trial? Maybe agents and managers should have those white wigs on. So at least we can go, oh, that's right, you're blowing smoke.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just, it's not so good. I mean, have you ever heard anyone who represented you in an off moment when they don't think anything's heard or could be understood or inferred from, and you go, oh my God. I did a play once where my agent came to see the play, and his whole bearing was, he he was so surprised that I did a good job. Really, he could not cover that obvious truth. He was like, "Oh my God, I could not believe it." It was like, "Dude, you're fired." Like, what the hell? So he never believed in me until that, right? It's like,
Wow.
like years.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
the hell? So
Intense.
it ain't good.
I got a call. I had just gotten to LA from New York, and I had gone to the gym, and then I went to Hugo's on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I was eating a big plate of God knows what. And this was before the time of cell phones. And by the time I got home, my agent had left a message saying, "I've had 3 calls that you're at Hugo's in
What?
sweatpants with no makeup. You better, you can never," and eating like a big plate of, it was just, I was like, what the?
What?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I got told that in the movie I was going to play opposite George Clooney. They told me, I went back like 5 or 6 times. It was like Red Dawn or something Hill or Walter Hill. I don't know. It was just so much testosterone involved in that whole thing. Like, oh my God. Anyway, it was my bikini work that lost me the role.
Your bikini
My
work.
acting was excellent, chemistry, everything was great, but my bikini work was very lacking. And so they selected Dee Dee Pfeiffer.
I've been working on my bikini work.
Who I guess had a different thing.
Bikini job. I don't know. Probably, yeah. I mean, my bikini work has never been strong. I must say.
And probably never been the same since, really.
None of us really have had very good bikini work. I don't
I mean,
think.
that's like, but at least, something, it's kind of better than what I get, because I'm trying to find out any reason other than they're just going a different way. Yes, I understand that. Why? Or
right.
what is the way they're going for? Where was I deficient so next time I can make up for that, let's say?
Yeah, you're totally in the
And they're
dark.
just like,
That's the thing.
No. I mean, I found something.
It might be the hats.
It might be the hats.
It might be. I see a friend's breakdown a number of years ago, and it says, it talks about the character, prototype Judd Nelson. See, I'm like, what? I know him. So I tell my set up a meeting.
description is
Why?
you.
I go, just set up a meeting. I go, hey, why not? It's like, 20 years ago this was. So
That's
I go
hilarious.
in, I get a meeting, I go in. They want me to read a couple scenes. I read a couple scenes. Have a good meeting, everything went fine. I leave. By the time I get home, the agents have called. No, it's not going to work out. You're too on the nose. They wanted me. I went in.
You're
and
too
I was
you.
too on the nose. It's like, really?
They said you're too you.
But don't take it personally. It's like, what?
Don't take it personally. You're too you.
And I made up a special headshot and bio. It was Clint Eastwood's face from an American Cinematographer magazine when he was looking at his most great. A little bit of Grizzle, like the serape, the little cigar Cigarillo thing like that. His mouth. That's my photograph. And on the back, where I put, past projects, every famous movie, like, Stanley Kowalski, Streetcar Named Desire, directed by Elia Kazan. It's like 25 of these things. Because a week before, my agent had said I didn't get the job because I didn't have a name. I said, I have a name.
I have a
But my
name.
parents call me Boy. Hey, Boy. It's like, so I make this thing up and I bring it in, and I and I put it on the desk. I'm really proud of it, and I'm in the waiting room, and one of the casting directors, who's a very tall woman, very severe woman, comes out holding this thing, and she just looks right at me, and she rips it up, and she goes, "Is that some kind of a joke?" And I was like, I just didn't know
Yes,
really
it
what
is.
to say.
Yes, it
So
is.
then, your turn now.
Oh, God, that's hilarious. Oh,
So
my
I didn't
God.
get that job. Go figure.
All right, I have to end the show now. This is awesome. Thanks for all the great stories. Gunnar and I are going to dance it out.
By the way, right now I'm in a casting workshop.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for being on the show. Gunnar and I are going to do the dance break at the
And
end.
what do? Do I just click off on this?
Yeah, you can just click right off on there, or I can click you off.
Dance.
Unless you want to dance. Let's hit the dance.
No, I can't dance. I can't dance. I'm under contractual obligation.
It's only a waist up dance.
There.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll see you all.
Bye-bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you, Gunnar. Feel better, Caleb.
All right. It's time now for the dance break. I had Kamala there, but she's gone too. Everybody's gone. It's just you and me, Gunnar, on the set of... What set is it?
What is that? Is that the Big Bang Theory?
That is the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it from that angle, that wide out angle.
Yeah, I think that might be somebody standing right there on the set, huh? There's some messages coming in here we're going to check out. I forgot it was Friday. Great work, all. Don't stop the bus. That's right. Don't stop the bus. You know, Gunnar, this is super fun. I hope I didn't surprise you too much there with the Judd Nelson experience.
No, that was great.
That was super fun.
It's sexy Judd Nelson from my childhood. I mean, what could be better on a Friday?
I know. It's a great way to spend a Friday. All right, so dance party coming up. This isn't even the dance break yet. Here we go.
Oh, I was grooving.
I like it. You were warming up, yeah.
What's up, y'all? So I accidentally learned this tune in the key of A instead of G, which is a whole step higher.
This guy's so cool.
So we're just going to roll with it and see if I can get through it.
Thanks, everybody, for being on the show today. This is our buddy, Adam Pearce. It's our new friend.
I want to tell you about the girl I love.
Doing some Led Zeppelin.
So fine. She's the only one that I've been dreaming of. Maybe someday she will be all mine. I want to tell her that I love her so. I thrill with her every touch. I need to tell her she's the only one I really love. I got a woman wanna ball all day, yeah. I got a woman, she won't be true, no.
Fun show today. Everybody in the chat room.
Stay drunk all the time.
Adam.
I said I got a little woman and she won't be true. A Sunday morning when we go down to church, see the men folks standing in line. They said they come to pray to the Lord with my little girl. She looks so fine. In the evening when the sun is sinking low, everybody's with the one they love. I walk the town, keep a searching all around, looking for my street corner girl. I got a woman on a ball all day, yeah. I got a woman, she won't be true, no. I got a woman that stay drunk all the time. I said I got a little woman and she won't be true. Now in the bars with the men who play guitar, singing, drinking, and remembering the times. My little lover works a midnight shift. She's followed around all of the time. I guess there's just one thing left for me to do. Gonna pack my bags and move on my way.
Gunnar is a good dancer with a cool jacket.
Gonna leave her where the guitars play.
Yeah, Jack, you gotta check the show out.
She won't be true, no. I got a woman, stay drunk all the time. I said I got a little woman and she won't be true, yeah. I said she won't be true, yeah.
Best dancing ever, This guy can shriek, man.
Keep on, yeah.
All right, thanks, everybody. This has been Lunch Therapy, number 230. Gunnar Rohrbacher. Check out his book. It's in the show notes. Signing off.